Hello, welcome to Comcast Newsmakers, bringing you news and information from people making a difference in our communities. I'm Beverly Weaver, and joining me now is Gavin Attwood, Executive Director of the Brain Injury Alliance of Colorado. Welcome, Gavin. Thank you for coming in.
It's my pleasure.
Let's get started. First of all, what does the Alliance do for people who may not be aware of your work?
The Brain Injury Alliance of Colorado is the lead advocacy agency in Colorado for people that have suffered a brain injury and their family members. And we also support programs like helmet programs that prevent brain injury in the first place. We advocate, we educate, and we support. We advocate at the state level with legislation. We educate through conferences, and for example, and we support through both professional and survivor support groups around the whole of Colorado.
Yeah, most definitely needed. Recently, Colorado has passed what's called Jake's Law. Tell me more about that and what that does for the state of Colorado.
So Jake's Law, the full name for Jake's Law is the Jake Snakenberg Youth Sports Concussion Act that the governor signed into law in March of this year. Basically, there are three components of the bill. The first is that coaches must get education around concussion. The second is that if a coach suspects a youth player between the ages of 11 and 18 of having sustained a concussion, then they must be pulled off from the field of play, whether it's practice or whether it's actual competition. Right. And lastly, the youth athlete may not go back to the field of play until they have been signed off by a healthcare professional. So I think we were like the 10th state in the country to pass this kind of a law. The law in Colorado is actually the furthest reaching.
Really?
Yes, it is. And the reason for that is that it covers not only a high school, middle school, it also covers the private sports clubs as well as the recreation leagues. And so right now we're leading the country in protecting our kids against the long-term effects of concussion.
Yeah, and let's talk about who Jake Snakenberg was, because certainly this is a story really of one family.
I never had the honor of meeting Jake. He was a freshman at Grandview High School. He sustained a concussion 1 week, and then the following week, we believe, had a second concussion, which caused a massive bleed in his head and his skull, and he collapsed on the field and unfortunately never regained consciousness. I can say that his family is amazing. I had worked a lot with Jake's mother, Kelly, and she testified at the Capitol on this bill, and they're just a good family that had to relive all of this tragedy in order to get this bill passed.
Very much so, but it's going to help a lot of kids. How do coaches and schools and everybody kind of prepare and deal with this law now that it's in place?
Yeah, great question. The Brain Injury Alliance has made a commitment that we will assist and put on trainings and facilitate trainings for coaches across the board, whether it's rec leagues or private clubs, in order to give them the information they need to comply. Most laws, once they pass in a session, will come into effect in August of that same year. We specifically asked that ours comes into effect in January the 1st, 2012. And the reason for that was that my organization wants to make sure that as many coaches as possible and organizations as possible have received the appropriate training and information.
Right, and there is real danger, not necessarily tragically with the fatality, but an accrued damage that happens to the brain with repeated concussions, right?
Yeah, exactly. Clearly, a fatality such as the one that occurred with Jake is tragic, but it's incredibly rare. What is more common are the long-term cognitive effects of repeated concussions. And the NFL has got very involved in this issue and was very supportive of this bill. They came out from the East Coast and testified in support of the bill. So they're very engaged in the problem.
All right. Where can people go to get more information, Gavin, on what you're doing in terms of research, but as well as the Jake Snakenberg law?
Absolutely. The website is BIAColorado, all spelled out, .org. BIAColorado.org.
Very good. Thank you very much. Gavin Attwood, Executive Director of the Brain Injury Alliance of Colorado. Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
And thanks for watching Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Beverly Weaver.